What's up guys, this is Composer with another DCS World tutorial. This tutorial is going to focus on fencing in. Fencing in is essentially brevity for just saying to get your aircraft ready to go into combat or into enemy territory. Fence also is an acronym that stands for firepower, emissions, navigation, communication, and electronic countermeasures. My goal here is to be able to show you how to actually do this within your aircraft. So let's get started. For firepower, I'm going to make sure that the master arm is turned to arm. I'm going to select air to air or air to ground, depending on your mission. If you're in air to ground, make sure that you set all your bombs properly for the mission. When you go into your JDAM, JSOWs, whatever, you're gonna start warming them up, and make sure to get your fuses set. It's something that's very easy to forget, but what I like to do is while I'm still on the ship or on the ground, I actually like to go ahead and get all of these fuses and all of my JSOW display and JDAM display mission set up properly before I leave so that there's less to do in the air. Moving on, we're going to turn on the FLIR. So make sure that your FLIR is turned on. While you're at it, get your laser designator and spot search turned on if you're planning on doing any sort of buddy lasing. Your right DDI will now need to go to the FLIR, and you'll see a warming up. In this spot, after you've made sure to set your bombs up properly, go ahead and get your codes put in. So if you're doing any sort of laser guided bombs, you want to make sure and get your codes put in properly right here. Once you have all of the above that we've already talked about set up, turn on your HMD. This is just a nice last thing to have turned on just in case you were to end up in any form of an air-to-air fight without expecting it. This lets you know your altitude and your speed a whole lot quicker. I like to just go ahead and store it so that I'm not looking at it whenever I'm looking around, but then I can quickly, with the click of a HOTAS, get it pulled back up. E stands for emissions. That's just saying turn off all your lights. If you're on a night mission, you might end up being asked to leave on your formation lights, and that's totally okay. But I personally just press L and it turns off all my exterior lights. N stands for navigation. Navigation is just making sure that all your waypoints are set up properly. You're following the correct waypoints. So as a flight lead, making sure that you're not on point 4 when you're supposed to be heading to point 3. C is for communication. Basically just confirm that COM 1 and COM 2 both have the correct buttons put in and all of the frequencies are set up properly so that you're not fumbling around looking for frequencies in enemy territory. E is for electronic countermeasures. Obviously, the first thing you want to do is make sure that your dispenser is turned on. You want to go over to your EW page. This will go through its bit test. Once it switches to standby, I'll hit mode right here. It'll go to manual 1, and then I'm able to deploy my countermeasures. One last step that I like to do on this page is make sure that HUD is boxed. This just allows that whenever this screen tends to switch for the stores because you're switching between different munitions, anything that would normally be on your EW page or your RWR will show up here on your HUD. So if there are any aircraft or there are any missiles on you, you're able to see them on your HUD very clearly. For me personally, I like to leave my left DDI as the EW page, the right DDI coming out of fencing in as the air-to-air radar, mainly so that I can continue scanning for any threats that might be out there before I reach FLIR distance. Then once I reach distance for dropping bombs or for even marking drop points, I will go over to the FLIR and start looking for my targets within the FLIR. Center screen always stays as the SA page. The SA page is an incredible tool that allows me to know what's going on outside of my aircraft at all times at a quick glance. Once you're finished with all the things that we've talked about, you will then say your flight call sign and your fuel state. So an example for me right now, if I were a wingman, would be 2 is fenced in at 13.3. This just lets your lead know that, okay, he's ready for combat. This is his fuel state. I know just about how much fuel he has less than me, and it lets them kind of internally calculate how much time they have to play within the battlefield. So that's it. You're all fenced in. Hope this was helpful. In the description below, I'm going to leave a link to a knee board that I created. That's just a quick reference to help you make sure that you know the acronym and remember everything that comes along with it. If you have any questions, as always, let me know in the comment section below, and I would love to help you out.